Today, we talk about keeping things simple. This show is for everyone working at the coalface. Digital, business, marketing, social. This is At the Coalface with your host, Jason Greenwood. Hello everybody, I'm Jason Greenwood. Welcome to episode 31 of At the Coalface. I want to talk about a subject today that's I guess been weighing on my mind for a little bit of time, and I've just been trying to put it into some sort of a structure that makes sense and I can communicate in a clear way that can actually add some value to you guys out there. And what I want to talk about today is kind of the KISS methodology, or something that's really appropriate or important in my life and has served me well throughout my professional career and even into my personal life. And it's something I've learned the hard way in many instances, and so I want to hopefully pass on some of my learnings to you so you don't have to learn it the hard way and don't have to reinvent the wheel. And really it comes down to taking the simplest approach to solving a problem or approaching a project or whatever the case may be that you possibly can. So what that does is it tends to reduce your stress levels, tends to reduce all the stress levels of everybody involved with that particular project or with whatever you happen to be working on and with whatever you happen to have going on in your life. So this can extend into the professional arena. It can also extend into the personal arena, and it brings to mind the concept of Occams Razor, which is the concept that the simplest solution is usually the right solution. And so there's permutations of Occams Razor, but that's certainly the underlying thesis of Occams Razor. And so I think it's definitely served me well in a lot of the projects that I've been involved in, and there's another term that is used and sort of bandied about in relation to large projects, and that is boiling the ocean. And so obviously the idea of boiling the ocean is absolutely ridiculous. It's impossible to do. And yet oftentimes when a project is being scoped or when a project is being considered, when information is being gathered, when something's being kicked off, the boil the ocean approach is the approach that's often taken, and it makes sense that that's the approach that's often taken, as opposed to an iterative, lean, agile approach that is basically an MVP, a minimum viable product. Get that to market, learn, implement, iterate, and improve based on the data and based on customer feedback. And so there's a lot of reasons why that approach, that boil the ocean approach, is typically promoted within our industry, whether that be digital, whether that be any project that is related to software, anything high technology, anything data related. It's often a big bang project. And one of the reasons for that is because oftentimes the consultants or the partners that are left to implement those projects, they're trying to get the biggest budget that they can for their project. So it makes sense to try to throw everything, including the kitchen sink, into the project. But sometimes that's not the fastest way to get to market, and it can actually increase the stress levels. It can increase the cost unnecessarily for a project. And so I urge you to take the KISS mentality, or the keep it simple, stupid mentality, to projects and to your own life. So the simplest solution often to get yourself up and running quickly and then iterate and learn from there is the best way, because if you take a boil the ocean approach to a project, oftentimes by the time you get halfway through that project, business requirements have changed, customer expectations have changed, staff has changed. There's so many things that can impact a project, especially if it runs 6, 8, 9, 12, 24 months. Over that span of time, the whole entire world's changed in that span of time. And so the relevancy of the project to the business might not be there anymore. The impetus, the budget, the board's buy-in, the senior management buy-in, whatever the case may be. So I think oftentimes in our personal lives as well, we've trained ourselves and we've kind of been taught to take the complex route to things, or to look at things in the most complex, detailed, granular way possible. And sometimes I think we use complexity as an excuse to give our life meaning. And I don't want to get overly deep or philosophical on this, but I've just seen it happen in my own life and happen in other people's lives, that they overcomplicate things, and it seems like they need that complexity, they need that drama, they need that drive inside their life to give themselves meaning. And so I guess my advice to you, what I would urge is to find meaning in simplicity, to find fulfillment in simplicity, to try to keep things really simple, really straightforward. If you can't explain a project, if you can't explain an idea, if you can't explain a concept, if you can't explain the value of something that you're proposing to your business or to your customers in a 30-second elevator pitch, then you should probably reconsider either how you're communicating that, how you're describing it, or whether it's actually even necessary at all. So certain things are complex and you can't get away from that. I understand it. I've worked across some very large scale, very complex projects that span multiple time zones and multiple partners and multiple technologies and multiple integration points, and so in order to deliver those projects, there is by definition complexity involved in that. But even so, I would urge you to try to take the simplistic approach to actually project managing that and getting everybody on the same page. And so what I've tried to do, both as a consultant on the agency side and then both also within HealthPost, I try to get everybody on the same page as soon as possible. And so there's no cloak and dagger. It's very transparent. Try to run transparent processes. I try to get questions out in the open very early on, and I try to get all the experts on a call as opposed to me being the bottleneck and trying to communicate between two experts. I'll try to get them all on the call at the same time. We have a project that we're undertaking at the moment right now that has several different parties working on this project or potentially working on this project at the same time. And so we have some questions about how some different technologies are going to talk to each other, about how they're going to work and what that outcome actually looks like for our business in relation to our business goals and our business requirements. And so what I've done is I've simply taken a position where we're going to all jump on a call, our lead developers, the technology partners, i.e. the vendors, and ourselves. We're going to all jump on a call together. We've got multiple time zones involved. We've got North America, we've got Canada, we've got Australia, we've got New Zealand. So we've got a lot of complexity in terms of even trying to make the call happen. But what we're going to do is we're going to get everybody on the call. It's going to be a very short, very sweet, to the point call. It's going to be a half an hour. We've got a very, very clear agenda that we're going to hit. Boom, boom, boom. We're going to answer 5 or 6 key questions to make sure that we can meet our needs with this technology stack. And then we're going to make a decision and we're going to move on. So I would urge you to plan better, both in terms of your own personal life, but also your professional life as well. It's very, very easy in digital, especially nowadays with the pace that technology is moving. It's very easy to get caught up in the complexity of the technology as opposed to what is the outcome that you're looking for. And if you focus on the outcome, if you focus on the goal, then that's going to make it a lot easier to focus on the important key points to achieve as stepping stones or as milestones to achieving that goal. So always look for what is the ultimate goal? What are we trying to achieve? What is the outcome that we're looking for? What does success look like for us? And what is the simplest path to get from where we are today to get to what success looks like for us? And so that would be my advice to you, is try to find simplicity, the beauty in simplicity, and try to find every angle that you can, kind of growth hack, life hack, whatever you want to call it. Try to find the simplest way to do something, even if it's your transport to work, whatever the case may be, in your personal life. Remove all of the stuff that would distract you from getting to your ultimate goal the quickest, easiest, most efficient way possible, and that is usually the right solution. And it will certainly reduce your stress levels. It will reduce everyone's stress levels around you. It will allow you to achieve and get more done on an iterative basis. And it will allow you to have successful projects in your professional life as well. So that would be my advice to you. Don't try to give your role or your position in your company meaning by trying to explode the complexity of what it is that you do. Try to keep it as simple as possible, condensed as possible, as laser focused as you can get on what it is that you're trying to achieve, and try to find the most efficient ways to actually get there. I guarantee you, your bosses, your colleagues, everyone around you, your employees, if you're the owner of the company or the CEO or the managing director or the GM, guarantee you your employees are going to really, really appreciate you taking that really methodical, simplistic, laser-focused approach to getting the outcome that you're looking for, as opposed to trying to overcomplicate things to bring meaning to it and to bring meaning to your life. So it doesn't add value. Adding complexity, just by the nature of adding complexity, it doesn't necessarily add value. Many times, the simplest approach is the cleanest approach. It is the nicest approach. It's the least stress approach. And ultimately, at the end of the day, it allows you to get on to other tasks and other projects and other opportunities quicker, thereby adding more value to your own life and also to your colleagues and your coworkers and your partners and also the vendors that you may have to work with. So hopefully that kind of, I guess, mental shift, and it's certainly something I've had to fight against myself, because I tend to try to examine all of the complexity of a situation. I like to have all my ducks in a row. I like to absolutely understand what's happening at a very granular level before we go forward. I like to make sure scoping is done exceptionally thoroughly, to make sure all the bases are covered, to give everybody confidence that the right solution is being implemented. But I think there's a balance to be struck, and I think that's what I'm trying to encourage you to find, is a balance in your life between doing the right thing, making sure that the solution is correct for you and for your business and for your personal life, but also trying to strike that balance with simplicity and eliminating everything that doesn't contribute to the outcome that you're looking for. Eliminate that out of the equation immediately, and hopefully that will, just make your life just a heck of a lot simpler in general, and it will make it a heck of a lot more enjoyable. You'll get more done, and you'll just feel like you're accomplishing more in life, which will give you more confidence to go on to the next project and the next project and the next project. And we've got one life to live, but it's a long life. We're living longer these days. You're probably not gonna quit work at 60 or 65. You're potentially gonna be able to work and be productive until you're 70, 80, 90 years old, especially if it's your own business. So you've got time. Take things patiently. Just make things happen in a very simple, natural way. Let things flow. Not to get overly, philosophical about things, but typically just let things happen in their own time. If you have to press, if you have to push, if you have to prod, if you have to really upset the apple cart, then you have to take a step back, make sure it is actually the right approach. Take everybody else that's around you along on the journey as soon as possible, and it will make it easier for everyone. So hopefully that's been useful to you. I think it translates well into professional life and personal life, and there's a lot of overlap there, because look, we're all human beings. Even when we're doing our job, we're still human beings, and you're still dealing with human beings. You're still dealing with those human relationships when you're dealing with vendors, when you're dealing with service providers, when you're dealing with colleagues, when you're dealing with friends. And so they will all appreciate your really laser focused and clean, simple, stress-free approach to life. So hopefully that helps you out, and I look forward to hearing back from you and your thoughts on how you keep it simple in your own life. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.